This very sad dog was found wandering the streets. He didn't seem to like the humans he'd come in contact with, but he was never aggressive or mean. He was just a very sad dog. Stay tuned to hear this story about hope and patience. The ending might make you cry. In Tennessee, a family adopted a puppy, and they loved him instantly. He was the smallest from the litter, so they called him Runt. They knew he would never have to fight for his food as many runts do. He would be cherished and cared for throughout his life. He lived on a farm and had a gigantic space to roam, but at first, they kept him very close. As he got older, the family trusted that he knew where he was and that he wouldn't leave. They were wrong though, and after 3 years at his happy home, he wanted to see what was outside of it.
That was really scary.
One day they called Runt in for dinner, but he never came. This was odd because Runt never missed dinner. The family started to panic. They looked everywhere, but he was nowhere on the property. They looked for him for days, which turned into weeks, and then months, and then years, and they thought they'd never see him again. It turns out that Runt had gone up to 10 miles or 16 kilometers away and began to live in the streets in a neighborhood surrounded by businesses. Strangers would keep him fed, and he gratefully took the food, but he wouldn't allow them to show him love in any other ways. He was a loner and didn't want to form a connection with anyone. Despite this, everyone in the area knew him and let him be. They would make sure he had water, and they always kept him fed. During the pandemic, everyone in the neighborhood was working from home, so there was no one to feed him or take care of him. The people who would usually do it were worried. They had been taking care of him for over 2 years, and now he was all alone. The city got many requests to take care of him, so they did. They took him to Washington County Johnson City Animal Shelter. They named him Roscoe instead when he got there. Many stray dogs are scared when they get to the shelter and need some time to adapt. He was never scared though, but he showed no emotions and had no interest in making friends. Tammy Davis, the owner of the shelter, said that he didn't want to be touched or comforted. He had no excitement about anything. Even when they would try to play with him, his tail never wagged, and he seemed to have no joy. He spent 6 months at the shelter and still wanted nothing to do with anyone. No one was able to break through to him. Around that time, the shelter was using social media pages to bring awareness to abandoned dogs. One day, they created a post about the dog. They explained that they had him for 6 months, but formed no attachments to anyone in the shelter. He would still take treats and be polite, but would move away quickly after. The shelter stated that they believe that he spent most of his life as a stray. The ending warned that you shouldn't pick him if you are looking for a cuddle buddy. This post got a few hits and inquiries, but one of the replies stood out. A person stated that they believed that he was his dog Runt. Tammy was skeptical though, because how could this person know for sure that this was their dog? Runt's dad sent Tammy photos they took of the day and saw that the unique markings on her fur looked very similar. It was definitely a possibility, but Tammy wondered, would it make a difference? He may not recognize or care that his owner found him. She was worried that the sad dog wouldn't be bothered about this either. Since he didn't show much emotion, she was unsure what the outcome would be. Tammy set up a time to meet up, and you won't believe what happened next. The man came to the shelter, and everyone was unsure of what would happen. But when they opened the kennel, he looked up at the man. Immediately he transformed. His tail was wagging, and he even shed tears. After all of this time, he remembered his original owner. He was showing all of his emotions, and he clearly was feeling happy once again. Finally, he was reunited with his owner and became a happy dog. It was tragic that this dog lost his owners, but they were reunited once again. This loner dog finally has someone to take care of him again. Pets often become lost, and it is important to know what to do if that happens to you. If your pet becomes lost, don't wait. Act fast, and don't hope your pet will come home. Begin your search as soon as possible. Search your neighborhood and around the area, and let people know on social media that you have lost your pet. Call your pet's name, and check any places where they could have been trapped. This could be under a vehicle or even in your basement. If it is nighttime, make sure you bring a flashlight and call for them. Sometimes a can of food can lure a hungry pet to you. If none of these methods work, check with your local shelters every day. Visit the shelters to search for your pet. It is difficult to describe animals over the phone, so you must go check. Call all animal control agencies in your town. Animal control officers work through the police department. They will pick up stray animals at least every 2 days. You can also check with local neighborhood groups on Facebook. Another way you could spread the word is by making a poster. Use your pet's photo to make lost pet signs and put them up in your neighborhood. A few good places are post offices, libraries, pet supply stores, grocery stores, and veterinary offices. You can also place ads in your local newspapers and offer a reward in case someone finds your pet. Dogs are considered man's best friend because they offer loyalty, love, and companionship. Anyone who has formed a special bond with a dog can agree that keeping a dog is a very rewarding experience. But what happens to a dog when he gets lost? When an owner passes away before her pet, it can be a confusing, sad, and difficult period, even if arrangements have been made for the animal to be taken care of by someone else, says Russell Hartstein, a certified behaviorist and dog trainer based in Los Angeles. It isn't unusual for dogs to grieve the loss of a person they were once bonded with who is no longer there. While they might not understand loss the way humans do, they still do understand the emotional feeling of missing someone who has left their daily lives. Since we can't communicate with our dogs to explain when a loss occurs, certain things, such as a change in routine or the absence of their owner's sensation, may convey that something is different. My definition of grief is that a surviving animal shows distress through behavior that is markedly divergent from his routine, says Barbara J. King, Professor Emerita of Anthropology at the College of William and Mary and the author of How Animals Grieve. We can't say for sure whether the feelings a dog has when experiencing a loss mirror that of a human's, but it seems very similar. There is solid evidence from brain imaging studies that similar areas of dogs' brains light up when they're feeling parallel emotions to those of us humans. No two dogs are the same in which way they grieve. So, it is important to keep an eye out for certain signs. These signs can even affect a dog's health. In this story, the dog was clearly grieving. He was feeling depressed that he lost his owner, and it was evident through his behavior. Now that the dog is back with his owner, he can finally feel happy again. This story reminds us to hold on to hope, just like this dog did. What did you think of the heartfelt story? Leave a comment to let us know. And don't forget to like and share this video with your animal-loving friends. See you next time.